Reproductive rights took center stage at the Dem convention earlier this week as we heard really heartbreaking stories from families punished by Republican restrictions. Here's Amanda and Josh Zarowski, a Texas couple who were denied medical care under their state's abortion ban.
My heart breaks. For the baby girl we wanted desperately. For the doctors and nurses who couldn't help me deliver her safely. For Josh, who feared he would lose me too. But I was lucky. I lived. So I'll continue sharing our story, standing with women and families across the country.
In a new exclusive interview with NBC's Priscilla Thompson, Amanda Zarowski said this about the impact that she hopes sharing her story will have.
Even though it's really difficult, it's also so important and very motivating. I like to say that this is really exhausting and it puts me to bed at night, but it also is what gets me up in the morning because this is the fight that we have to fight in order to make change.
Joining us now is Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. General Nessel, first of all, can you just talk about how in Michigan you all have moved to protect the rights of people all over your state to be able to make their own decisions, and how perhaps what's happening in Michigan could be a model for other states across the country?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. In the wake of the 2022 Dobbs decision, immediately our very draconian 1931 abortion ban with virtually no exceptions went back into effect. And, you know, similarly to what Kamala Harris had done with Prop 8 back in 2011, I said I will not enforce this abortion prohibition, meaning I won't prosecute women or their doctors for what had been a fundamental right for 50 years, nor will I defend this law when plaintiffs bring a challenge to it, because you know, we had well over 2 million women of reproductive age in our state, and I didn't run for office to jeopardize the health, safety, and welfare of my constituents. So ultimately, what happened was the law was challenged. It was put on hold until we could bring a ballot initiative, which was known as Reproductive Freedom for All. And it passed in November of 2022 with resounding numbers. And it didn't just protect abortion rights, but also the right to birth control, to manage a miscarriage, and also to fertility treatments. So that was, you know, obviously something that was impressive, and it allowed people in Michigan to feel safe about reproductive care. However, I think it's very important for people to note that at any time, a decision by the United States Supreme Court or a federal ban that's put in place, were we to lose Congress and the presidency on abortion, would supersede everything that we have managed to accomplish in Michigan and in similar states.
Well, on that point about a federal ban, Senator J.D. Vance is on Meet the Press with our colleague Kristen Welker. We have an early piece of that interview. Take a listen to what he has to say about a national abortion ban.
Can you commit, Senator, sitting right here with me today, that if you and Donald Trump are elected, that you will not impose a federal ban on abortion?
I can absolutely commit that, Kristen. And Donald Trump has been as clear about that as possible.
He said that explicitly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not supporting it as the President of the United States, you fundamentally have to veto it.
So he would veto a federal abortion ban?
I think he would. He said that explicitly, that he would.
I do not agree that he has been as clear as possible, AG Nessel, and great chance this ultimately would get litigated out in a second Trump term. I wonder if you take J.D. Vance at his word and how you look at it as a law enforcement authority.
Well, first of all, I think between Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, you have two of the most opportunist individuals ever to enter public service, right? They will say or do anything that helps to get them elected, but that doesn't mean that that's how they're going to serve once they're in office. But aside from whatever Trump or Vance wants, or even Congress. Let's look at it this way. Whether you're talking about the mifepristone case that went to the United States Supreme Court, or the case involving emergency health care, when a woman literally, is bleeding out and dying, whether or not she has to be treated in a hospital, remember, both of those cases were not decided on the merits. One, it was said that the plaintiffs lacked standing to bring that case. In the other, the decision was that it was improvidently granted. So there was no decision on the merits. Those cases could go back to the United States Supreme Court. And if so, you're really talking about, in the case of mifepristone, over half the abortions in Michigan are performed using abortion medication. That still could be eliminated so that there's still all these ways to chip away at abortion rights and birth control and so many other fundamental rights that have been protected for a long time, irrespective of what Congress or a president does, simply because of who we have on the United States Supreme Court. And that's why I've been screaming from the rooftops, all our most sacred fundamental rights are in jeopardy if we have the wrong people on the court. We have two individuals on the court, maybe three if you include Sonia Sotomayor, that may not last for another presidential term. And of course, that includes Alito and Thomas. And it is so essential that we have Kamala Harris in the White House so that she can be nominating people who care about protecting our essential freedoms. And whether that's abortion, birth control, whether that's about, the ability to have environmental regulations, whether it's even about the ability to prohibit public funding of private schools, which is a case that's pending right now from my state. Before the United States Supreme Court, they are considering taking that case. And of course, that would apply to all 50 states. So I think people have to remember that each and every one of our fundamental rights could be eviscerated if we don't select the right person to be president of the United States and a Senate who will confirm the right people to be justices on that court.
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, I am just so glad you could join us today. You are one of the stars, rising stars, frankly, in the party that graced the DNC stage earlier this week. And if anyone missed what you had to say there, they got just a glimpse of it today.